Rightio, let's get going with the multiple choice questions from strings practice test number 2. And the first thing is, which of the following statements correctly deletes the last character in the string? Okay, before I get it, I'm just going to go through in my head. Dangerous place to be, I know, but I'm going there. Delete, and what does it do? It deletes from a string starting at a certain position a certain number of characters. So for example, the first one would start at the first position, which can pretty much rule it out straight away, and it's deleting in fact effectively the whole of the string, because if a string consists of 10 characters, they would delete from 1 to 10. It would take the whole string out, in fact. Delete string minus 1. If our string consists, and again, always think of a practical example. Let's think of a string consisting of 10 characters. Then which character do we want to delete? The 10th character. We don't want to delete the 10 minus 1th character. Okay, the 10 minus 1 sounded weird. 10 minus 1, 9th. We don't want to delete, so that's not it either. This is the correct one. This is the correct one. Delete from the end of the string. In other words, let's just assume it's equal to 10. And again, if you're unsure, think of an example. Okay, even if you have to write one down quickly, say, just write down a little string with 5 characters and let's say, right, I want to delete the 5th character. How do I get that? Well, the length function will tell me. So number D would be the right option there. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Let's just get into a little bit more focus. Okay, 1.2, I'm taking my own advice, just coming up with a little imaginary string there, okay, so that I can test my thinking about it. Which of the following statements correctly adds a hash sign? Okay, so it's sort of noughts and crosses grid that's been squashed as the first character in the string. Okay, so insert the hash. Okay, this is even the wrong way around, because that insert says insert, it should be insert. That's saying insert this thing into the hash sign. That's not going to work definitely. Okay. String 1 is equal to string 1 plus the hash sign. Well, there's string 1 there. If I add the hash sign on, it's going to go at the end of it, so that's not it either. Okay, insert the hash sign into the string. Okay, that's fine. The length of the string, but it's 5 characters. I don't want it to go at the end. I want it to be the first character. Okay, so hopefully it's this one. Insert the hash sign into string 1 so that it becomes the first character. In other words, everything will just simply get shifted up. Okay, so it'll become the new first character. And I mean, it's just a single character. It could be any number of characters that we have a look at. Okay, so again, I think I'm really trying to get across this idea of think of a practical example. If there isn't one in front of you, it does help. Okay, which of the following statements correctly adds a hash sign is the last character in the string? Okay, so again, I've just made myself a little example in my head, and I put it there to show you what's in my head. Not much in my head, just that at the moment. And they're saying, right, hash sign plus string 1. Okay, but that's going to put the hash sign in front, because it's going to take the hash sign and add it on. So that would have worked for our previous example very nicely. If you wanted to put it on the front, that's great. Okay, now they're all looking quite similar here. In fact, these two are exactly the same, so I presume somewhere I made a mistake there, but let's assume, okay, one of those. Insert the hash sign into string 1, length of string 1. Okay, so maybe this answer should have been none of the above or something. So essentially we've got to choose between those two. Okay, my sort of gut feeling, and I'll be honest, I got it wrong, was to go for that one, because it says insert the hash sign into that string, the length. Okay, that's the number of characters in the string, so that's where I want it to go, isn't it? No, I don't want this to be, let's go back to our string. How many characters in it? There are 5 characters in it. I don't want it to be at the 5th position. Okay, if I put it at the 5th position, it's going to go in over there, which I discovered. Okay, and it becomes the 5th position, and the 5 just gets squeezed up. So it's not what I wanted. So I actually want to go to the length of the string plus 1. That's where you want it to go. So insert the hash sign into the string, not just at the end of the string, at the end of the string, but you know what I mean, not this is the last character, but one after the last character, because you want it to go, otherwise it's going to become the new last character, and the old last character is just going to be shifted up. Okay, so that one caught me out, so that was I think it's a nice question, that one. So that is our answer over there. And again, it was only when I went to a practical example that I thought, okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. Right, 1.4. What can be deduced? In other words, worked out. Okay, detectives, they make deductions, okay, based on information. So we're going to be the Delphi Detective Agency, or the DDA. What we need jackets with DDA on. What can be deduced or worked out if the following if statement is true? And again, I've given myself an example there. Let's think about it. Is that ever going to, if they're capital letters, that statement could never be true, because if I take the lowercase version of it, which is then small a, b, c, d, e, it's never going to be equal to the original, because that one was a capital originally, and now I can make them all small letters. That's never going to be. So there can never be a capital letter. What if they were all small letters? Would that ever be possible? Yes, because if I take the lowercase of something that's already lowercase, nothing changes. So the original will be the same as the lowercase. Okay, just got to be careful with that. Here's where critical thinking comes in. You say, okay, is that the only time that can work? We certainly can't have capital letters. Okay, we certainly can't have capital letters. They must be lowercase letters. But what if my string didn't have any letters in? Could that statement still be true? Yes, it could be, because if I take the lowercase of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it says, well, cheers, I'm not changing. I'm quite fine as I am. So that could also be true. So it's a case of either there are no letters, or the letters that are there are all in lowercase. And lo and behold, that's number C. Okay, there are either no letters stored in there, like that, or they are all in lowercase. Or mixture, obviously. So if I have that, and I take the lowercase version, it's still going to come out the way it was originally. Okay, so that's a nice extended thinking. Sometimes you've got to think beyond the example that you've come up with, because you've got to think, okay, when will it work, but when will it not work? Okay, is kind of what we're looking at there. Radio 1.5, how many characters, not how many characters, how many characters will be copied from the string by this command? Okay, copy string 1, copy from string 1, starting at that position over there. Okay, and in this example, I'm also going to try and show us, I think, some of the multiple choice tactics that one should have, and I think that's true in any subject, no matter what the material is. This one's very tempting to get caught out, because it's saying, right, copy from the string, the length of the string, comma 5, so we know that that's right. Copy from that position 5 characters. So it says how many characters will be copied. Well, okay. You look at this, you say, hasta la vista, baby, there's the 5. I'm packing my bags and I'm out of here, because I've just packed in a mark. Okay, sadly it is wrong. Okay, again, let's go back to what I keep on saying. Think of a practical example. Here's a string. What's the length of the string here? Okay, 5 characters. Okay, so it's copy from the, let's make it 6 characters just to be different. Okay, so it says, right, copy from the length of the string, which is now 6. Okay, 6. Okay, copying it from the 6th position 5 characters. But wait a bit, there aren't 5 characters to copy. Remember, Delphi doesn't freak out. It says, don't hassle, I'll copy what I can and I'll let you be this time. Okay, so it says, right. So in fact, if you copy from the last position, you can only copy 1 character, because there isn't anything after the last position. So the answer to that is, in fact, 1. Okay, nice, tricky. So I've put it in pretty pink. Rightio, 1.6. Which of these will definitely not change the value stored in the string? Okay, and as I said in the last question, the normal multiple choice tactics also apply here as well. Let's look at the ones that really don't make any sense. This one just caught my eye, because it's looking for the position of a comma. Well, I have no idea if there's a comma in that string or not, so that one you could just take out. That's bad news, that one. That's gone. Okay, so number D is gone. Okay, these two here, possibilities. Let's have a look at this first one as well. Okay, wait a bit. This is actually adding on a space. There's actually a space there. If you add on a space, yes, it does make a difference. It does make a difference. because although when you print it out it looks exactly the same, the fact is that the one will have a length, string 1 had a length, say, of 5 characters, it will now have a length of 6 characters, which means it's a different string. Okay, if you compare them, it'll be different. So, okay, tricky. The temptation might be to say, well, that makes no difference. Yeah, it does make a difference, although you won't visibly see the difference when you print it out, okay, because it's just spaces. Internally, there's a difference with that string, so we're left with these two. Okay, so they both are copying from string 1, so that's right, they're starting in the first position, so that's fine. Okay, the length of the string, that would copy everything. Okay, because if there were 5 characters, it would copy from 1 to 5. If there were 20 characters, it would copy from 1 to 20. So in other words, I just end up with my original string. This one would copy everything but the last one. Okay, so if I had 5 characters in my string, it would copy from 1, 4, which would be 4 characters. So that would change the string. So the question was, which one won't change the string? Definitely not that one. Okay, definitely not that one. Okay, 1.7 is a bit of a mind bender. Let's see how we can improve our chances of solving it. Which of the following is the same or the equivalent of this if statement? So we'd have to understand what that if statement is doing. Okay, it's incrementing the count, which all of these are doing. So it's not the increment of the count issue, it's what that comparison is doing. And they're all looking at string 1 I loop. We assume I loop's got a value or something, so they're all comparing the same thing, but the comparisons are different. This one is looking to see if it's in this set. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, capital letters, comma, A, B, C, D, E, lowercase. So it's checking for if there's any occurrence of A, B, C, D, E, if it's lowercase or if it's uppercase. Okay, if it's lowercase or if it's uppercase. Okay, let's try and see if we can throw some things under the bus and get rid of them straight away. This one here, okay, pause says check this thing in this thing. Now that's fine if we were checking lowercase, but it doesn't account for uppercase. Okay, it's checking for greater than 0. In other words, it's trying to find the first occurrence of that in all these possible values, but that's not all the possible values. Okay, so we're going to chuck that one out. This one here looks a bit more promising because it's got all the possible values, but this greater than equal to 0. That's an odd one, that one, and the question comes up later about that as well. It says, why would we check if it's greater than equal to 0? Because if it's equal to 0 means it's not found, but if it's greater than 0 it means it was found. So that's going to be true irrespective of whether it was found or not. So that if statement really doesn't make a lot of sense. So we've actually chucked out these two, I think, so far. Okay, so we've thrown C and D under the bus. Let's have a look at this one. This looks far more promising because this one says, right, check if that character, because that's ultimately what it is, it's a character in a string, and we're comparing it the same one each time. If it's in capital A, B, C, D, if it's in that string, in other words, that would check for uppercase and lowercase, and it's greater than 0, meaning is it found? Okay, because remember, pos returns the position of the first matching occurrence. Okay, so in this case we're just checking, we're not interested in exactly where it is. So that one looks fine, which means that we have to discard number A. And why would we have discarded number A? Okay, let's imagine this was a capital letter that we were looking at. Let's say we were looking at capital A. Okay, that's not going to make any sense, because if we were looking at a capital A and we took the lowercase of it, it would be a small a. So in other words, if this thing here, that thing there, was a capital A, and I took the lowercase of it, then I'd be looking at small a, but I'm only checking for capitals there. So the answer that we've got there is that one there. Okay.